There's a moment in life, a quiet, almost invisible turning point, when everything you've been through begins to make sense. It often doesn't feel like victory, it feels like breaking. It feels like silence. It feels like delay. But that's the space where something divine is taking shape. When God is about to give you something big, He doesn't rush, He prepares. He prepares the blessing, but more importantly, He prepares you. You might feel stretched, tested, even forgotten. But don't mistake the process for punishment. God is not punishing you. He's positioning you. Every challenge, every setback, every closed door is not a stop sign, it's a stage being set. When something big is on its way, life often gets quiet. Friends may fall away, opportunities might dry up. You'll wonder if you missed it. But remember, before the biggest breakthroughs come, the greatest battles. The silence is not absence, it's strategy. In these moments, your character is being shaped to carry what you've been praying for. You're being humbled so you don't worship the gift, but the giver. You're being trained not to settle for good, but to hold out for great. So if you're tired right now, good. That means you've been working. If you're uncertain, good. That means you've been walking by faith. And if you feel like giving up, don't. You're closer than you think. God doesn't give small dreams to people with big hearts. If the weight feels heavy, it's because the promise is massive. And when it comes, you'll understand why the wait was long, why the climb was steep, and why the nights were lonely. Because when God gives you something big, it doesn't just change your life, it changes generations after you. It's not just a blessing, it's a legacy. So stay faithful, stay ready, stay open. When God is about to bless you in a big way, He doesn't just hand it to you without preparation. He takes time to get you ready for it. The season before the blessing can often feel long, quiet, or even confusing, but it is never wasted. It is in this in-between space, between the promise and the fulfillment, that the most important work happens. Not around you, but inside you. We often pray for breakthroughs, success, open doors, and favor. And while those are good and beautiful desires, what we don't always realize is that big blessings require strong foundations. And foundations take time to build. That's why God doesn't rush. He prepares, He refines, He removes what you don't need and strengthens what you do. He allows certain trials not to break you, but to shape you. It's easy to want the stage, the opportunity, or the success, but what use is the spotlight if your spirit isn't ready to carry the weight of what comes with it? During the preparation season, it may feel like everyone else is moving ahead while you're standing still. You may see people getting opportunities you prayed for. You may feel overlooked, even forgotten. But know this, God has not forgotten you. He is working behind the scenes, crafting a blessing so specific to you, so uniquely timed, that when it finally arrives, you'll realize why it had to take this long. Sometimes the delay is not because the blessing isn't ready, it's because you're still being made ready. This process is not always comfortable. In fact, it's often painful. You'll be stretched in ways you didn't expect. You'll be asked to let go of things, people, or habits that no longer serve your future. You'll be tested in your patience, your faith, and your endurance. But it is all part of God's divine strategy. He is building spiritual muscle in you. He is deepening your roots so that when the blessing comes, you won't be shaken. You'll be ready not just to receive it, but to sustain it. Think of a tree. Before it can grow tall and wide and bear fruit, its roots must grow deep. No one sees the roots, no one applauds the roots, but without them, the tree will fall in the first strong wind. That's what God is doing in your life during this hidden season. He is growing your roots. He is teaching you lessons that will sustain you later. Lessons in humility, patience, self-control, and trust. There are some blessings that, if given too soon, would crush you, not because you're weak, but because you're not yet ready to carry them. That's why God protects you from premature promotion. He's not holding back out of cruelty. He's holding back out of love. He wants you to thrive, not just survive. And for that, you must be developed, not just delivered. So if you find yourself in a season of waiting, don't despise it, don't rush it, don't compare your journey to someone else's. Trust that God knows exactly what He's doing. Use this time to grow. Pray more, learn more, listen more. Let Him shape your character. Let Him clean your heart. Let Him strengthen your faith, because when the blessing comes, and it will, you won't just be ready to receive it, you'll be ready to honor God with it. And when that moment comes, you'll look back and thank Him for the time He took to prepare you. You'll understand why the door didn't open earlier. You'll appreciate the silence, the discipline, the stretching, because what you receive will not be just a reward. It will be a responsibility, and you'll be prepared to carry it with wisdom, grace, and gratitude. So remember, preparation always comes before promotion. And if you're being prepared right now, rejoice. It means something big is on the way. It means God is trusting you with something great. And most of all, it means He sees more in you than you might see in yourself. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep growing. The blessing is coming, and when it does, you'll be ready. Sometimes, just before everything changes, everything goes quiet. Life slows down in unexpected ways. The prayers you once felt so strongly now feel like they bounce off the ceiling. The doors that used to open quickly now seem firmly shut. People who once stood by your side may suddenly grow distant or disappear entirely, and in the silence, a question starts to rise. Where is God? That silence can be unsettling. It can feel like abandonment, like being forgotten. We are so used to movement, to signs, to progress, that when things stand still, we assume something's wrong. But the truth is, God often does His greatest work in silence. His absence is never real, it's only perceived. When you can't see His hand, you can still trust His heart. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean He's not working. In fact, silence is often a signal that something is shifting behind the scenes. Look at the way seeds grow. When a seed is planted, it is buried in darkness. No sound, no light, no movement above the ground. But deep in the soil, something powerful is happening. Roots begin to form. Life begins to stir. The seed is transforming, preparing to break through the surface. That process is silent, and yet it's essential. That's what God does with us. He allows us to go through seasons of silence, not to punish us, but to develop us, to prepare us for what's next. We often associate God's presence with feelings, goosebumps, excitement, clarity. But faith is not based on feelings, it's based on trust. And trust is most real when the feelings are gone and we choose to believe anyway. Silence trains your faith. It sharpens your spiritual hearing. It teaches you to lean not on what you feel, but on what you know. That God is good, that He is faithful, and that He finishes what He starts. In the quiet seasons, we learn dependence. We stop striving to control outcomes and start surrendering. We stop relying on noise, signs, and distractions and begin listening for the still, small voice. That's the voice that matters most, the one that whispers in the quiet, I'm still here, keep going. Sometimes the silence is God drawing you closer, inviting you to lean in, to trust more deeply. It is in that stillness that your relationship with Him deepens, not through activity, but through intimacy. There are countless stories in Scripture where God went silent before He moved in power. Before the resurrection came the silence of the tomb. Before the Israelites entered the promised land, there were years of wandering. Before Jesus began His ministry, there were 30 quiet years. Silence is not the absence of God, it's part of His rhythm. It's a space He uses to prepare, to heal, to strengthen, and often it is a test. Not a test to fail, but a test to prove what's in your heart. It's in the silence where trust becomes real. Will you still believe when you don't see? Will you keep showing up in prayer even when you hear nothing? Will you worship when it feels dry? These are the moments that build unshakable faith. Because when you learn to trust God in the silence, you won't be easily moved when things get loud again. So if you're in a season right now where everything feels quiet, where your prayers seem unanswered, where progress feels stalled, don't assume you're alone. Don't believe the lie that God has left you. He hasn't. He's closer than ever. He's just doing something deeper, something eternal, something you can't yet see. And when the time is right, when the roots have grown strong enough, when your heart is ready, you will see the breakthrough. And when that moment comes, you'll look back on the silence not as a place of emptiness, but as a sacred space where you were held, shaped, and prepared. You'll realize the silence wasn't a pause in God's plan, it was part of it. It wasn't distance, it was development. You weren't being punished, you were being trusted. Trusted with the quiet. Trusted to keep going without proof. Trusted to hold on when there was nothing to grab but faith. God is still writing your story, even in the silence. Especially in the silence. Don't give up. Keep walking. Keep praying. Keep trusting. The silence will break. And when it does, the sound of your breakthrough will echo louder because of the stillness that came before it. There are moments in life when the weight feels heavier than usual. When the path ahead seems unclear, the pressure around you builds, and the struggles begin to stack on top of each other. You might ask yourself, why is this so hard? Why now? And while everything in you may want to give up or run away, there's something deeper happening beneath the surface. Struggle isn't always a sign that you've done something wrong. In fact, sometimes it's proof that you're right where you need to be. If life feels unusually hard right now, it could be because something big is around the corner. Struggle is often the final stage before something breaks open. It's a sign that a shift is near. The pressure you feel isn't there to crush you. It's there to prepare you, stretch you, and form you into someone who can carry what's coming next. Struggle is a tool, not a punishment. It has a purpose. And if you're feeling it deeply, you're not being forsaken. You're being formed. Think about how diamonds are made. They begin as simple carbon buried deep underground, but it's the intense pressure over time that transforms them into something rare and valuable. Without the pressure, the diamond never forms, and without the struggle, your strength never matures. What you're going through right now might be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's not meaningless. It's doing something in you that ease and comfort never could. We often ask for growth, for purpose, for breakthrough, but we don't always realize what we're asking for. Growth requires friction. Breakthrough demands resistance. You don't get stronger without lifting weight. You don't build endurance without pushing past fatigue. That's why the struggle you're facing is not working against you. It's working for you. It's giving you what you need to stand firm in the next chapter of your life. There's also a spiritual dimension to this struggle. When you're getting close to something significant, when you're on the verge of stepping into your calling or receiving something that will impact not just you, but others around you, that's when opposition often increases. Resistance rises because the enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. If you weren't carrying something powerful inside you, the pressure wouldn't be this intense. But because you are, the struggle comes, not to defeat you, but to try to distract you, delay you, and make you doubt your own worth. Don't let it. In these seasons, it's crucial to remember that what feels like breaking might actually be building. God allows certain challenges not to destroy you, but to draw out the best in you. He's developing resilience, trust, humility, and wisdom. He's giving you the kind of strength that can't be shaken when things get hard. And he's proving to you that your limits are not where you thought they were. You're stronger than you think. You've come further than you realize. And you're not going through this alone. There's also beauty in knowing that the struggle connects you with purpose. When you overcome what once tried to stop you, your story becomes a testimony. Your endurance becomes a message of hope for someone else. Your scars become signs of survival and strength. So don't resent the struggle. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it make you into someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. Who doesn't just receive blessings, but carries responsibility with grace and maturity. You may not see the full picture right now. You may not understand why things have to be this hard, but trust this: when you come out on the other side, and you will, you'll see how every tear, every delay, every moment of doubt had a role in leading you to something greater. You'll recognize that the struggle was not the end of your story, it was the turning point. So if you're tired, keep going. If you're hurting, keep trusting. If you're confused, keep believing. The struggle means something is shifting. It means you're moving. It means growth is happening. And above all, it means that God is not finished with you yet. What's coming is worth what you're enduring now. Hold on, because the struggle you feel today is shaping the strength you'll walk in tomorrow. And when that greater purpose unfolds, you'll understand why the struggle had to come first. There's something about waiting that tests the human spirit in a way nothing else can. It stretches our patience, exposes our doubts, and humbles our plans. We live in a world where everything is instant: answers, updates, deliveries, results. But God doesn't work on our timetable. He isn't rushed by pressure or panicked by delay. He works in perfect timing, not in quick timing. And the truth is, the bigger the blessing He's preparing for you, the longer He might take to bring it to pass. God-sized blessings take time because He's not just building the gift, He's building the person who will carry it. When the promise is significant, the process is just as serious. God doesn't want to give you something that will overwhelm you or cause you to stumble. He wants you to be ready for it, not just in your circumstances, but in your heart, your mindset, your maturity, and your faith. So if it's taking longer than you expected, don't assume it's a no. It might be a not yet. And in God's hands, a delay is never wasted. It's preparation. We often think waiting means standing still, doing nothing, hoping something will eventually fall into place. But in God's kingdom, waiting is active. It's in the waiting that we are refined. It's in the waiting that we learn endurance. It's in the waiting that we let go of pride and lean more fully on His wisdom instead of our own. Every day of delay, every prayer that feels unanswered, every door that doesn't open is shaping you into the person who can handle what. And when it finally comes, you'll realize that if it had come any sooner, you wouldn't have been able to carry it with the strength, humility, or wisdom it requires. We serve a God who does not forget His promises. He's not slow, and He's never late. His timing is divine, which means it's precise, purposeful, and perfect, even when it doesn't feel that way to us. Think about the stories we know so well. Abraham waited years for his promised son. Joseph endured slavery and prison before stepping into leadership. David was anointed king long before he ever sat on the throne. Even Jesus waited 30 years before beginning His public ministry. In each case, the waiting wasn't a detour. It was part of the design. God uses time to protect you, not punish you. He knows what lies ahead. He sees the full picture, and in His love, He withholds certain blessings until He knows the blessing won't destroy you and you won't forget Him once you have it. That kind of waiting builds trust. It builds relationship. It draws you into a place where you stop striving to make things happen on your own and start resting in the confidence that if God promised it, He will provide it. Sometimes we look at other people's lives and wonder why things seem to come so quickly for them. We compare our timelines, our progress, our results. But comparison can be a dangerous thief. It blinds you to the beauty of your own process. It makes you rush something that isn't ready. What God has for you is uniquely yours. No one can take it, and no one can walk the path He's created for you in your place. So don't rush what's meant to take time. Don't try to shortcut a journey that's meant to develop you. If it's taking longer, it's because it matters more. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. The taller the building, the longer the foundation must be laid, and the greater the blessing, the more serious the preparation must be. So if you feel like you're in a long season of waiting, take heart. God is doing more than you can see. He's aligning the right people, the right doors, the right timing, and the right condition. And he's doing it in such a way that when the blessing comes, you'll know without a doubt it was him. Not luck, not chance, not your effort alone, but his hand and his plan. So don't grow weary. Don't give in to frustration. Don't assume the silence means he's forgotten you. He's working, even now. And what he has for you will come not 1 minute too early and not 1 second too late. The wait will make sense. The struggle will be worth it, and the blessing will be far more than you imagined, because it was never small, and neither is the purpose he placed on your life. Keep the faith. Keep walking. The wait is not empty. It's evidence that something big is on the way. There's something sacred about the seasons in life when nothing seems to make sense, when the questions outnumber the answers, when you can't see the full picture and yet somehow you're still asked to believe. Those are the moments that feel the heaviest, but they're also the moments when real faith is forged. Not the kind of faith that lives in comfort or thrives on certainty, but the kind that endures the fire, the kind that's refined. Faith doesn't always grow in the light. It often grows in the dark. When you can't see what's ahead, when you're unsure how things will work out, and when all you can do is take the next small step without a map, that's where faith becomes real. That's where it's tested, stretched, and strengthened. It's easy to believe when everything is clear, when the doors are open and the answers are quick, but it's in the silence, in the delay, in the confusion where true trust in God is born. This season you're in, the one where you're still waiting, still hoping, still unsure, this season is not just about getting to the next chapter. It's about who you are becoming right now. It's about the kind of person God is shaping you into. He is not just interested in what you achieve, but in who you become along the way. He cares more about your character than your comfort, more about your trust than your timeline. And in this waiting, in this tension, he is refining your faith like gold in the fire. When gold is refined, it goes through intense heat, not to destroy it, but to purify it. The fire burns away everything that doesn't belong. That's what God does with our faith. He uses the heat of life's trials to burn away fear, doubt, pride, impatience, and self-reliance. And what remains is something stronger, something more genuine, something more beautiful. It's a kind of faith that doesn't crumble under pressure because it's been built under pressure. There are times when it will feel like you're doing everything right and still not seeing results. You're praying, believing, showing up, staying faithful, and yet the breakthrough hasn't come. That doesn't mean your faith is weak. In fact, it may be stronger than it's ever been, because faith is not always measured by the results you see. It's often measured by the persistence you show. It's in choosing to keep going when there's no visible reason to. It's in the refusal to give up hope, even when the odds seem against you. What you may not realize is that your faith in this season is laying the foundation for the seasons to come. The trust you're building now will carry you through things you haven't even faced yet. The spiritual muscle you're growing in the silence will be what sustains you in the storm. God is teaching you to walk by faith, not by sight. Not as a punishment, but as preparation. And as your faith is being refined, so is your vision. You begin to see life differently. You stop putting your hope in temporary outcomes and start anchoring your soul in eternal truths. You learn that peace doesn't come from having all the answers, but from trusting the one who does. You begin to understand that success isn't always visible progress. It's quiet perseverance. And you realize that blessings aren't always what you get. Sometimes they're who you become in the process. This refining process isn't always fast, and it isn't always easy, but it is always worth it, because when you come out of it, you'll be changed. Not just more faithful, but more compassionate. Not just stronger, but wiser. not just hopeful, but deeply anchored in truth. You'll look back and see that God wasn't distant. He was deeply involved, carefully shaping you with every delay, every closed door, every silent moment. So if you're in a place where you feel uncertain, tired, or tempted to give up, remember this. Your faith is not failing, it's being refined. God is not just getting you ready for a blessing, He's making you into someone who can carry it well. He's building the kind of trust that can weather storms, the kind of strength that can bless others, the kind of endurance that doesn't give up just because the road is hard. This season is shaping your soul. Let it. Trust the process. Trust the one guiding you through it. You may not see the full picture now, but one day you'll look back and understand that what God did in you was even more important than what He did for you. And in that realization, you'll see how priceless this refining truly was. There's a powerful truth we often overlook when we talk about blessings. We pray for them, hope for them, and sometimes even chase them, believing they're the key to our happiness or fulfillment. But what if the blessing God is preparing for you isn't just about your comfort, your dreams, or your success? What if the blessing is far bigger than you? What if it's not only meant to change your life, but to impact the lives of others too? When God gives, He doesn't just give with you in mind. He gives with generations in mind. He gives with your family, your community, your purpose, and even people you may never meet in mind. That's because God never blesses in isolation. His blessings ripple outward. They have layers, depth, and reach. So when He's preparing to pour something significant into your life, it's not just a gift. It's a calling. It's not just a breakthrough. It's an assignment. Sometimes that's why the process feels so intense, because what you're being given is weighty. It comes with responsibility. It comes with purpose. It requires preparation, not just to receive it, but to steward it, to manage it well, to use it for more than just personal gain. You're being trusted with something that's meant to go through you, not just to you. Think about the people in Scripture who were blessed by God. Their blessings were never only for themselves. Abraham was blessed to become the father of many nations. Joseph was blessed to save Egypt and his family from famine. Esther was placed in a position of royalty not just for her own comfort, but to save her people. Even Jesus, the ultimate blessing, came not for Himself, but for all of humanity. Blessings from God are always meant to overflow. To say, if you sense that something big is coming, understand that it's not just about your story. It's about the story God is writing through you. He's equipping you for influence, not just ease. He's preparing you to make a difference, not just to live in convenience. That business idea, that opportunity, that healing, that promotion, that answered prayer, it's all part of a bigger picture. You are a vessel, a carrier of light, of hope, of truth, of love. And your blessing is part of that divine plan. That's why it's so important to stay grounded when the blessing comes, because blessings can be misunderstood. They can be idolized. They can become distractions if we forget the source and the purpose. But when you remember that the blessing is bigger than you live differently. You give more. You love deeper. You serve with joy. You stop asking, what do I get out of this? And start asking, who can I help with this? That shift changes everything. You don't need a platform to make an impact. You don't need fame or fortune. Sometimes the most powerful blessings are quiet ones. Peace in your home, wisdom in your decisions, strength to keep going when others give up. These are blessings that shape legacies. These are the kinds of blessings that get passed on, not in words, but in example. When you choose to forgive, when you choose to give, when you choose to lead with love, you are operating in the fullness of your blessing, and others are changed because of it. The truth is, someone is waiting on the other side of your obedience. Your yes to God could unlock freedom for someone else. Your story, your journey, your growth, none of it is just for you. Someone is watching. Someone is learning from how you carry your faith. Someone is being inspired by how you hold on through hardship. And when your blessing comes, your testimony will be the evidence that God is faithful. So don't take it lightly. Don't waste it. Don't shrink back when it comes. Step into it with courage, knowing that you've been entrusted with something sacred, something meant to impact more than just your world, something meant to echo beyond your lifetime. The blessing is bigger than you, and that's what makes it so beautiful. Because it means your life has purpose beyond survival. It has meaning beyond today. You're not just being elevated, you're being entrusted. You're not just being favored, you're being chosen. And the legacy that flows from that blessing will be far greater than anything you could have built on your own. Let God use you. Let the blessing flow through you. That's when you'll truly understand how big it really is.